Good morning, I'm Gerhard Mathangani with today's Sports Brief. We are gearing up for a big weekend of racing in East Alabama. The Talladega Superspeedway will host the fall edition of its biannual race. The chase for the championship has always run through Talladega, and it will again this year as the playoffs move into the round of 8. Drivers say running at Talladega is always challenging, but the stakes are heightened at the world-famous track each October.
Each race is individual and different. I think, we obviously know we can win there. It's just a lot of it is circumstances. A lot of it is, kind of putting yourself in the right place, which you don't always know what that place will be. It's historically the playoff race at Talladega is pretty wild because you've already got, probably 2/3 of the field that's been eliminated. That's, really not racing for much other than trying to win. And you got some other ones that are, it looks like going to be, fighting tooth and nail for stage points. So, I suspect it'll be pretty wild again, but I'm confident that all of our cars are good enough to win every time we go there.
It should be a very exciting weekend of racing at the Superspeedway. The track will host a trio of races starting tomorrow at noon with the Truck Series. The Chevy Silverado 250 will kick off the weekend as their playoffs continue to roll along. After that race, the Xfinity Series will hit the track for the Ag Pro 300. Green flag drops at 3:30. Then on Sunday, it's the big one, the Yellowwood 500 in the Sprint Cup Series. Race begins at 1. Moving to college football, this weekend will also be key for the Alabama and Auburn football teams as they move into some marquee games not only in the SEC but in the country. The second-rate Crimson Tide will host number 13 Texas A&M. Meanwhile, number 7 Auburn hits the road to Athens to face 4th-ranked Georgia. Crimson Tide head coach Nick Saban says powerful lessons can be learned between the first and second games.
You can always ask yourself, what if? All right, you ask yourself, what if I play with discipline? What if I dominate the guy? What if I play hard for 60 minutes? What if I maintain intensity? Those are all questions that you ask yourself before something happens. All right, and then you can say only if, and that's what you ask yourself after it happens. Only if I'd have done this, only if I'd have prepared better, only if I'd have played for 60 minutes. So I think those are all things that lessons that we're trying to get our players to, understand that you got to pay the price for success up front.
Meanwhile, Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn is confident for an improved running game against that Georgia front.
Last year, we played them late in the season. I don't think they'd given up a rushing touchdown the whole year. And, we had one on a quarterback run, and they got just about everybody back. So, you're looking at not just, one of the best rushing defense, if not the best rushing defense in the country. But Chad's got, the playbook. I mean, he can do a lot of different things in the run game. And, so you'll see us each week. I really feel like we'll improve in the run game, but, having a lot of different things that you can do, I think is really good. And I think that, the more that we can settle in on 5 linemen, like we talked about Sunday, that gelling up front will also help.
The Tide and the Aggies square off at 2:30 in Tuscaloosa. Auburn and Georgia will kick off 6:30 in Athens. Meanwhile, Jacksonville State will get its 4-game non-conference fall season started at Florida State. The Gamecocks will return starting quarterback Zerrick Cooper to the fold. However, there's parts of this offense will have a very, very different look. The receiving corps lost some good players, including All-American Josh Pearson, who is now in the NFL. The Gamecocks know that unit can still be productive, even though it's a bit different.
I think we got some young, talented guys that you'll learn some new names, and I think they're going to be very good. But they're going to be more blue collar. I can tell you this. I don't think right now that they're going to be able to step in where those older guys have been playing for years and making those plays. We got to be more blue collar and more possession type receivers and things like that. But I think there's some ability there, and they'll kind of grow as we go and get better.
Honestly, I just got to be patient. The receiver group that I had the past 2 years that I had, they was more upperclassmen, veterans, so they knew my weaknesses, they knew my strengths. So this group going in, we didn't have a summer, so I didn't have much time to work with them and get down timing. So right now it's just really I'm still learning them, but I'm also being patient and just tell them certain ways to get off releases or how I like my routes ran. So right now I'm just being patient.
The Gamecocks and Seminoles take the field tomorrow at 3 in Tallahassee. And that is your Sports Brief. Our program returns next.